Okay. There you go.
This is Amethyst and Andrew.
Missionaries with Global Outreach Foundation.
At sendtheroths.com. We want you to understand more about the Congolese, their culture, and what it's like to work there. Our hope is to bring it to your living room, to your coffee table, and even to your iPhone. Send us feedback on our video so that together we can help the Congolese become self-sufficient, independent witnesses of Jesus Christ.
There's over 30,000 child soldiers active in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And the Lord showed us that we would see child soldiers become pastors, become leaders, become productive members of society. But at that point in time, we had never seen a child soldier. We knew that they were out there, but we didn't have the opportunity to meet them. But this past year, 2011, it was an opportunity for us to go out to some of the remote villages by our four-wheel drive vehicle, and it's oftentimes 7-8 hour drive out to these remote villages. But we found not just tens, not just hundreds, but potentially thousands of child soldiers.
Andrew was really upfront with telling them that we had nothing to give. We were there to make our first contact with them, to see their faces and for them to see ours, because this was the beginning of a long process. There's hardly any research on how to rehabilitate the minds of children who have been taught to destroy at such a young age. But we know that Jesus is the healer, and that's what we offered them.
Fallen short of the glory of God.
And so when they came to our camp one night, Andrew, actually it was a morning, Andrew was sleeping in the car, and he was just so tired because he had been driving for so long on less than perfect roads. And so he just kind of fell asleep, and I was washing dishes at the time, and I got up and I just started talking to them, and I felt the Spirit of the Lord asking me to lay hands on them, not to pray, but just at any point in time actually make physical contact with them and do a human touch. It was almost as if like the touch of a mother, and I myself am not a mother, but that was what I felt the Spirit of God saying was touch them, and touch them with love. It's going to be my touch, filling their needs. And so as I would talk to them, I would touch their needs and tell them about things, about the Lord and His thoughts toward them. And at that point in time, I started seeing some of them, and some of them were young, 8 years old. Other ones were all the way up to about 16 years old. But I noticed that especially the younger ones, they would start kind of like covering their faces. And what I realized was that these kids were crying. It was the touch, and it was not my touch. It was a touch from God that they were getting. They were feeling love, and it was moving them to tears. Our hope in the future is to go back and create a rehabilitation and reintegration program for people who are demobilized from the militia, child soldiers who are demobilized.
Pastor who married us, Steve Ferrante, he was actually to come out for about a week and just experience the ministry that's going on out there.
In this very place, 72 people were murdered by guerrillas, and I'm standing next to the grave of the victims of this atrocity, and I will be preaching in that church this morning.
And then another visitor that we had was a former Congolese refugee who received a refugee status to come to America. I actually had the privilege of meeting him while I was in college, and at that time it's been 7 years since we had first met, and then we were finally joining hands together ministering in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
3 years ago, we never thought that we would be bringing visitors. We weren't even sure ourselves how the safety was, and now things have gotten to a point where we feel confident bringing visitors, and in fact we welcome visitors and teammates who are going to join the team and work.
Clarence was 19 years old when he took his first missions trip with us last year. Only a year before, he was heavily involved in a gang called the Bloods. He lost his brother in the gang and was a part of it since his early teenage years. Christ changed his life, and he met us when we were speaking at a small group. He immediately told us that he wanted to come to Congo. We were uncertain at first, but he raised the money and he made it to Congo. He was there with us for over a month and a half. His testimony of life in a gang surprised the Congolese, but it also allowed them to identify with him. He had a story they understood well, and they listened to him because of it.
For the past 3 years we've been going in and out of the Congo, but then now in February we're going to be moving full time. I just graduated with my master's in church planning and evangelism. Amethyst just finished up her bachelor's in journalism, and we're just excited for what 2012 has in store for us. In our next video, we will cover what our next steps are for the ministry. God has given us a clear word on how we can create a firm foundation that will facilitate the development of rural, war-torn communities in eastern Congo, and we want to share it with you.